But you've seen me at these things, and you can tell. I can tell who's the BSer in the group,
Sure.
and you see me make a wide berth. Give them a very wide girth and avoid them.
Well, it's interesting because I went down to, that Kansas City Paracon, Allie Westrick, man. She got her hands out. She gives me a big hug. The energy's great, and then all of a sudden I look over and I see all these psychic mediums. Kind of they're all lined up, and the whole time I'm thinking they're looking at me with this dumbfounded look, and I'm like, hey. My light's shining bright, baby. I'm good. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Was this the last one or the one before?
I think it was the last one that I went to, and
the one we didn't go to.
Yeah. But I'm like, hey, my light's shining bright, baby. I'm good. But Kansas City, they probably look at me and they're like, who is this demonic, dented son of a? You know what? Who knows?
I don't know. I think some of it may have to do with that building.
Sure.
There's something in that area, like I said before. We used to live not too far from there. I drove through the area all the time, and there had been a woman that had been murdered in her car not 2 months before that was roaming around there. So, yes, murdered in her car. Yes, roaming around. I was seeing her. She was coming to me before we got there 2 years ago when we went. And I told you, and that's, during our tree time. And it's one of those weird things that, sometimes people don't understand why a spirit will come to one person but not another. And not everybody's going to see the same spirit when they're a medium.
Sure.
I have a hard time explaining it because of the fact that I don't do this all the time. It's just whatever happens, I just tell you, this is what happened. I don't consider myself a medium. But I don't consider myself a medium. I consider myself Denise. This is it.
Sure. I'm one of those, Denise, that I don't advertise that I'm a psychic medium. And maybe that's that guy that doesn't care that if he gets the spotlight or whatever. Yeah, you know what I mean. It is what it is.
Right, and that's me, and I don't care about the spotlight. I want to have fun, and that's what this show is about. This show is about giving you the spotlight for 2 hours and giving the listener somebody to ask those questions to that they can't ask anybody else.
Absolutely.
And so that's what this is all about. It's not about me. It's about me when they're interviewing me. So like when I was on Cat's show, that's when it was about me. And I still tried to make it about other shows, and everybody else. So I still try to do that. And that's one of the things about you. You do the same thing. Because when I listen to you on your Facebook Lives, not everything's about Chuck. It's about what's happening out there. I'm going to be on the Paranormal Pride on Monday night at 7:00. Come and listen to Denise Pridemore show. I know that you've said that. I didn't listen to it, but I'm pretty sure you said that at some point during one of the lives that you've done in the last few days, because I know you well enough to know that you're out there promoting that you're going to be on my show.
Sure.
So, like I said, I didn't have to go out there and listen to it. So, but guys, we're coming up on our next break. This is going to be a 3-minute break, so go get your hot chocolate filled up or your water. Or in Ron's case, is it bourbon or scotch tonight, Ron? Bourbon. It's cold out. So, bourbon. Yep, bourbon. Which kind of bourbon? He doesn't know what he's drinking.
That's not good.
I was just asking.
I just switched.
You just switched? So he doesn't remember. So
no, the one that Glenn's Creek.
Glenn's Creek. This is Glenn's Creek. I'll have to tell you guys about this one. It's OCD. OCD number 5. So that's what he's drinking tonight. It's kind of hot. It tastes really good. I tried it. In fact, we tried their stuff off the still. But you guys tune in back in a couple minutes. You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. We'll be talking to Chuck Banks when we come back.
You are listening to WPHM Digital Broadcasting. The best in paranormal talk radio.
Welcome back to the Paranormal Pride. This is Denise Pridemore, your host. I'm talking to Chuck Banks, and I've got the Peanut Gallery being a pain in the ass again here. Just so you'll know, the Peanut Gallery is Ron. Usually he's kind of stays quiet, but he's, again, you guys miss out on the stuff we talk about behind the scenes. This time it's just Ron being weird. So here we go. We got a question from Chuck, or from Carl, Chuck, to you. Mm-hmm. Do spirits talk to you while you teach or coach?
Oh man, you know it's interesting. It hasn't happened, so much that way. I mean, I do pray and do all that sort of stuff before games, so no one gets hurt. And I don't know whether it's because I ground and pound maybe before doing that, but I had an experience a couple years ago when I was officiating, and I was officiating this varsity baseball game, and I'm not behind the plate, so I'm behind the pitcher, and I hear this voice say, "Hey, Coach Banks," and I turn around, and I asked this kid, I said, "What'd you want?" And it wasn't him. So I have had spirits talk to me, when like in that genre, in the officiating component, I guess.
Okay, and then the follow up to that is, let me find it again. Oh, are you able to turn it off?
Yes. I can turn it off, and sometimes I turn it off too long, and that's when I get kicked in the face. You know what I'm saying? So I have to make sure that I'm careful when it comes to that. Now, I also ground and pound quite a bit and try to turn it off during the day at school. Mm-hmm. Because of the amount of energies and things like that come through with these teenagers. So, I have to be careful, in that component as well.
Do you have issues with teenagers with a lot of psychokinesis and stuff like that?
Psychokinesis. Are you talking about
Like PK energies from the kids,
yes,
the classrooms?
yes. A lot of negative energies, and the bad thing is I can sense when these people are going through really dark times, and that's when I come in, and I come in more out of a fatherly or a grandfatherly love, and I'll place my hand on their head and say, hey, how you doing today, and blah blah blah, and then they open up, and then that I'm able to ease things in that mannerism, in an uncreepy way by
Well, you said head. If you just said some other body part, we'd have been going, okay, we better be calling the cops.
Oh, yeah, Denise. Okay, no, I'm just kidding.
Come sit on my lap, dearie.
No way. I have this big bubble, baby, and it's around me. And when people get in my bubble, it bothers me. That's just who I am.
I know you only allow certain people in your bubble.
For sure.
So, because that leads back to that darkness spot again. Now, Shelley Burke Robinson, she is the host on Ghost Talk Radio with 187 PI on Friday nights. She has a question. Okay. She says, my father is a Pentecostal preacher and has been for decades. He doesn't think I should be having all these conversations with spirits. He says they are all demons in disguise trying to gain my trust. What are your thoughts on that, Chuck?
It's interesting because I have read up quite a bit on familiar spirits. When you look at a lot of the Gnostic tables and all that sort of stuff, and I do have issue at times when it comes to speaking with different spirits and energies. Now, you have to be careful because even though you might think that you're talking to a certain spirit, it could be lying to you, much like, our human counterparts, on a day-to-day basis would do to you. So you have to be careful. Do I think that every spirit that comes to me or, through these readings are a demon? No, I don't personally believe that. But at the end of the day, am I an expert when it comes to all things, in the astral plane or the heaven planes or anything like that? No, I'm not the expert, but I can merely just say through my experiences. Have I encountered some pretty dark stuff, some pretty depressing stuff out there, some demonic layers? Yes, but I've also had some great conversations with different loved ones, of my, whether it be my clients or my own loved ones come through. And, that's truly amazing to me.
I know that those conversations I've had with different family members have been amazing, strange, enlightening, all of those things, to where sometimes I question the ability or question the message that I was actually getting, because it's like, did this really happen? Sometimes it seems like a dream too.
Sometimes, yes. And, in my psychic dreams, I also talk about some of my astral projection experiences, but mainly in my psychic dreams, I'm talking about these trips into a basically prophetic environment, and it's so vivid. The reality is so vivid, and these dreams that I call psychic dreams are the ones that come over and over and over, and then something happens, or or I get insight on a particular aspect of my life, or where to go, and it's amazing. I would encourage everybody to have a notebook beside themselves when they wake up these vivid dreams and write them down, because every one of those has meaning and a scope that could define who you are.
I agree with the encouraging people to keep a notebook, just because sometimes things happen that you need to write down, and you need to remember it for later. Mm-hmm. Because in case it happens again,